Howdy, howdy, and welcome back to Gale FFTCG. I'm Serah, your host, and today we'll be doing our set review for Opus 15. I'm going to be reviewing one card in each of the rarities, common, rare, heroic, and legendary, and we'll just be seeing how these all stack up and why they're kind of my favorites. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into water. First off, we have Kites, the common that I am most excited about this set. 2 CP, category FFCC, water backup. If a forward you controlled formed a party this turn, the cost required to cast Kites is reduced by 2, and when a party you control attacks, you activate Kites. So basically, the biggest part about this is water getting a good target for category FFCC. We can search for Nordstallen. It means water wind decks have a viable way of getting the Nordstallen packaging now that wasn't really bad. This is actually pretty decent. It has a kind of type Una legend effect that gives you a bonus when you've party attacked, which is fine. But because that's reduced by 2, basically you can play this back for free. Super cool. Really love this card and can't wait to play it. Up next, in the rare slot, believe it or not, we have 3 CP Lena. She's a princess and a warrior of light, making her double searchable, which is awesome. 7k water forward. When Lena enters the field, you can pay Crystal. Crystal's a new type of resource that basically, it's like a counter that stays on you. It kind of works like energy if you've ever played Magic the Gathering. When you do so, you get to choose one forward of cost, 2 or less in your break zone, play it on the field. So basically, you could play a Sophie. There's a bunch of really cool stuff in water that's 2 cost that you could play. When Lena enters the field, you can pay 2 crystals. When you do so, choose a forward of cost 3 or less other than Lena and play it onto the field. So the interesting thing about these is they're both May abilities, so you can opt to do one or the other. But if you have 3 crystals, you can get rid of all 3 crystals to do both effects, and that's where this card will really shine. I think this card is really powerful when we can start to get a lot of different kind of buffs to crystals where we can generate a lot of them really quick and then just dude spam all over the board, and that is kind of how we win. I really like this card. I think it's a great rare. Definitely my favorite this set. In the heroic slot, we have 3 CP Realm. It's a Pictomancer, category 6, if that's relevant at all. 6 CP, or 6,000 power, sorry. And when Realm enters the field, we choose a forward or monster that we control. We can bounce it to our hand and gain a crystal. I just love the fact that this works with so many bounce synergies. We have Bismarck, so it might draw us a card. If we have a Leviathan on the field, we might be killing something while we do it. Just a super fun card. We can also pay a crystal and tap this to search for a monster of cost 2 or less and play on the field. Seems pretty decent. It is an activated ability, so unless you want to haste Realm, I would be very careful with that. You can also pay 2 crystals and tap to search for a monster of cost 5 or less and play it on the field. Now, the second one, I think, warrants its ability, because really this card does nothing until you have the crystals. It generates its own crystals, which is fine, but having 2 and searching for a monster of 5 or less, there's some potential to be really broken here. You can, play a Typhon from your deck. Things like that. It could be seriously dangerous if you leave this thing unchecked. So I like cards that are that way, that this card is too good for me to leave unchecked, but it feels like a waste if I'm actually using it. And I like that. And lastly, in the legend spot, we have Porum. 2 CP, 4k Apprentice Mage. It's a category 4, if that's relevant at all to any decks you're building. And at the end of your turns, you can place 1 EXP counter on each job Apprentice Mage you control. There is a Palom in the set that is also an Apprentice Mage that has a similar ability. So if you have both of them on the field, you can kind of ping off each other so they can get really powerful really fast. For each EXP counter placed on Porum gains plus 1k. Again, this is another card that's do I want to deal with this now? Do I have to deal with this now? Yeah, I probably should deal with this now before it gets out of control. And I like those type of cards. I think those cards are very healthy for a game when there are overtime value. I think that means the game players want to slow the game down, and I think that's really necessary right now, especially with how last Opus kind of went with the aggro. Don't get me wrong, right? I love a good aggro deck, but sometimes it's more healthy for a game to have a little bit of time in the aggro limelight and then come out of that. And I think this card is a good start. We also have an activated ability. To choose one forward of cost 5 or less, it loses all abilities until the end of the turn, and if there are 3 or more EXP counters placed on Porum, its power also becomes 1,000 till end of turn. And you can only use it once per turn. But that's such a good ability, because you can do this on your turn or your opponent's turn. You can only do it once, but those are the times that it matters, because we had 1 CP Kukulane that would draw you a card and make something lose all its abilities. And that was super good already. But now having it on a forward, that is even better. I would argue that is worthy of a legend right there. It's a very subtle legend. It doesn't bam hit the field and you just like lose immediately. But I think this is the sort of thing that will steal games if you're not careful. But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what your favorite kind of water characters are for this set and or summons. But yeah, have a lovely week.